Hi, and welcome to Kind Humans. I'm your host, Shelby Sturgill. Today we're going to be talking with Melissa Youngblood, who is the director at the Golden Yang Art Gallery here on campus. And we will also be talking with Grace Douglas, who is an art student here in Moorhead. We'll see you all after this break. Hi, and welcome back to Kind Humans. Today we're going to be talking with Grace Douglas. Hi, Grace, how are you?
I'm doing very well. How are you today?
I'm doing well. How long have you been creating art?
Well, I think since I could hold a pencil, honestly. I would draw a lot as a child, and it really picked up about middle school and high school whenever I was able to actually take some actual art classes, and then it's just kind of been downhill from there.
And why do you create art?
It helps with everything that goes on in life. It's a way to calm down. I often stumble over my own words. I'm not very eloquent sometimes, but whenever I am able to create things, I feel like I can say a lot more and not stumble over myself. Plus, it's very relaxing.
And what can you tell us about your pieces that you brought with us today? How long did it take you to make these, and were there any struggles in these creations that you made?
These are, the pottery ones took probably a couple hours to work on throughout classes. The hardest part is keeping stuff symmetrical and centered. For this little frog, he took about a week.
Wow, really?
Because, I made him when I had my wisdom teeth out, so it was some way for me to calm down and not worry about stuff. But I think one of the hardest parts about him was trying to keep him balanced. He's a little top-heavy in some places, but he finally stood up. But he's one of my favorites that I've ever worked on, and I'm very proud of him.
I think he's absolutely fantastic. And why do you find art so important?
Well, honestly, it's a way of expression, and honestly, it gets cut out of school districts and all kinds of other things quite often. It's helped me through a lot of mental health issues, and I know it's helped some of my friends through it. And plus, it's just a way of bringing others together, and it's just very special to me.
And you also have been published in Inkscape, right?
Yes.
And can you tell us what really introduced you into Inkscape?
I had a professor my first semester of college, Lisa Mesa-Gaito, who I love dearly, and she kind of encouraged me to publish in Inkscape, and she said that it would be a good opportunity both for resumes, and it looks nice, and plus it's very fun to do. And that's mainly why I did it, because I thought it would be neat. I got a publication the first time I was here, and I've kept that publication ever since, and it's just very special to me.
Would you recommend students on campus to also participate in Inkscape?
Oh, absolutely.
All right. Well, thank you so much for coming on
Of
the
course.
show. We will all see you all after this break.
Eagles always soar high, but you might be feeling low if your Eagle card gets damaged or lost. Stop by the Eagle Card office today to get your replacement. Our office is located in Aduc by the University Post Office for your convenience. We are open Monday through Friday, 8 a.m. to 4:30 p.m. The Eagle Card office is here to help you soar again. Stop by and see us today.
welcome to my segment for Kind Humans. I am with Taylor Johnson, the photo editor of The Trailblazer. How are you doing today?
I'm doing great. How are you?
I'm doing great. So can you explain what The Trailblazer does with these students that join it?
So it brings in students and it lets them have like one-on-one time with a camera, with doing stories, with anything, video, podcast, and you can come in as a freshman and do it, which is not common in universities. Usually you have to wait till you're a junior or a senior and stuff like that. So it just lets students experience stuff earlier on and get one-on-one action with it.
Why did you start working with The Trailblazer?
Because I love photography. So I thought it was just going to be a good place to start with it and do like sports photography. So I have an internship with the AAC with sports photography, and it helps me with both. So it helps me understand the camera. It helps me understand like interviews, so I can interview them over there and stuff like that.
What are some of your favorite articles and photos that you've done with The Trailblazer?
So sports, obviously, is my favorite. I love my sports photos. Football is probably my favorite one to shoot. Story-wise, ooh, that's a hard one. That's a hard one.
What do you do now that you're a photo editor for The Trailblazer?
So I just kind of help out when the staffers need me. If they need to know about a setting, or they need to know about what to do or what angle to take on a photo. So that's pretty much what I do. And then once they get them into Dropbox, I'll take them and I'll go through and I'll edit them and make sure they captioned them right and stuff like that. And then I'll put them up on blocks and Sarah takes it from there, or Olivia.
Do you feel like what you've learned at The Trailblazer has helped you with getting internships or doing other like commission work?
Oh, absolutely, because if it wasn't for the Trailblazer, I wouldn't have the internship with the AAC as a sports photographer. So it's helped me a lot through that.
Do you have any advice for someone who is in the Trailblazer or who is interested in joining or anything?
I would say advise. I would say probably if you have your mindset to it, do it. I tell the staffers all the time, always take the angle, always take the extra step. Because if you didn't, you'll never know what you got from it. And I think people should just come out and try the Trailblazer, because why not? You get hands-on with camera work, with writing, with video, with podcasts, like I said. So, I mean, I think it's a great experience for everybody, even if you're not in the CDM program.
How can someone join the Trailblazer if they're interested?
They can email any of us, get in contact with John Flavel. We have a Trailblazer email, or just email the editor, Sarah.
So what kinds of stories and photos do you do as the Trailblazer as the whole?
So we do stuff in the community. We do stuff on campus. We do stuff in the community. We've even gone as far as like Ashland, West Liberty, anywhere, like a 30-mile radius kind of thing. But we do stuff on campus with student organizations and just anything in the public pretty much.
Okay. So if any of you are CVM majors and you've had John Flavel, you've heard that from him, he usually talks about how the Independent pays for articles in there. So, and a lot of people from the Trailblazer write those, and I'm sure you're one of them.
Mm-hmm.
So,
Yep.
Explain that just a little bit.
So we will publish the staffer stories in the Trailblazer, and if the Daily Independent thinks it's really good or whatever, they'll pick it up and they'll publish it in their paper. Or if Flavel thinks, hey, this is a good one, he'll just send it to him and be like, hey, you should look this over, look at it, see if you think you want it to go in this week's paper or whatever. And then we get published for it. So
And the Trailblazer is actually an online website with all of their articles and photos archived. So if you ever want to check that out, just go to, what's the website?
Trailblazer.net.
And thank you guys so much for watching, and thank you, Taylor, for
You're very
this
welcome.
interview. And everyone have a good night.
Hi, and welcome back to Kind Humans. Today we're going to be talking with Melissa Youngblood. How are you?
I'm good, Shelby. How you doing?
I'm doing good. Now, you've worked at the Golding Yang Art Gallery, correct?
Correct. Yes.
And how long have you been working there?
I've been with the Golding Yang Art Gallery about 3 years. I started in 2018. Yeah, in January, in the fall, spring session.
And what made you want to work at the gallery?
Well, I've been doing gallery work since I got out of grad school many moons ago. And my husband actually started teaching ceramics at MSU 2 years prior to me being hired here. And I was just always coming for the receptions, and I fell in love with the gallery, and my now co-workers are just wonderful people. And so the previous gallery director moved to a job elsewhere, and I applied for it, and I'm very glad that I got the job here.
Right, and though this exhibit closes tomorrow, I think it's still important to talk about. The current exhibit up is called Black Art Matters. That centers around the Black Lives Matter movement. Can you tell us about the exhibit and what kind of pieces there are in it?
Sure. So the exhibit descended out of an idea that we just needed to take action right after George Floyd, but then especially with Breonna Taylor happening within our own state. And so we put out a call to entry for national and international artists of color to apply, and the work just talks about their point of view as being Black and African American artists. We have painting, drawing, photography, and sculpture in the exhibition.
Okay, wow. And the next exhibit is also called Gender Now, which is about defining gender. What can you tell us about this upcoming exhibit?
Okay, so this one also relates to the committee work that I do is for the diversity committees on campus, and then also for gender studies. I'm part of the leadership group. And it's another topic that we need to talk about these days because gender is changing so much, the definition of it. It's no longer just black and white, just male, female, man, woman. There's the non-binary category that we can now talk about because we have words to use for it now. It has been around for a long time. So this exhibition just shows all walks of gender and the things that they go through being hyper-feminine, hyper-masculine, or somewhere in that gray middle as a non-binary, or not even on that spectrum whatsoever. So I feel like it's important to really educate people on what gender is right now.
And the Golding Yang Art Gallery is very open-minded to all people and artists. Why is it now so important to represent movements like Black Lives Matter and the spectrum of gender?
Well, because we're having a big shift, and it's time to have this big shift to where we really think about how the lives of people of color do matter. They're all important. And we need to talk about that because a lot of horrible things have always happened, but it seems like a lot right now because media really grasps onto it. And the same thing with gender. It's another hot topic, and there's big changes happening. And so it's the job of an art gallery to be a part of that change and of that education on these topics.
And do you think the representation of these movements in art can cause change in how others in society look at these movements?
I absolutely do believe that art can make change. in very quiet ways. Often it makes that change. When somebody comes into a gallery, you're most likely not going to have big idea changes with every single piece that you see, but a lot of times people will latch on to like that one singular piece and a light bulb will just turn on in their head and they're like, oh, that's what that means. It's a subtle way of educating through vision as opposed to words.
Well, thank you so much for coming on the show today.
Absolutely. Thank you for having me.
And we will see you all after this break.
Have a package or need stamps? No need to drive across town when you can stay on campus. The University Post Office is your one stop for all of your mailing needs. Located inside ADUC beside the Eagle Card office, we are here for the convenience of you. Purchase stamps or money orders, ship out packages, and so much more. Please visit our website for more info. The University Post Office is open from 9 a.m. to 4:30 p.m. Monday through Friday. Come see us today.
Hi, and welcome back to Kind Humans. Due to the current event that happened this past week, we at MSU TV would like to encourage those who are struggling with their mental health to seek help in counseling service located at Allie Young Hall. Next week, your host, Liv Walker, will be discussing depression and anxiety. See you all next week.